I'm a little wonton, living my best life. Hello, I'm Hannah Hart, and welcome back to Edible History, the show that studies the history of edible things that we love, like wontons. I love wontons, especially wonton soup. The broth is so flavorful, and the wontons are so delicate. When I'm sick, I don't want a chicken noodle soup, I want wonton soup. But I hardly know anything about it. Where did the wonton come from, and why is it here? What's the difference between a wonton and a dumpling? To find out, I'm asking Tommy Wong, executive chef at Trey, Yuen. First things first, I have a very basic wonton question. What's the difference between a wonton and a dumpling?
Dumplings are shaped different. They start off round and they're a little thicker. The wontons are square, a little thinner, and usually made with egg and flour. So this is a fast food version where they just pinch it. And this is a little more fancy version where it's shaped like a gold or silver nugget from the old currency.
Our purposes here today are to try and find the oldest recipes for certain dishes.
The wonton goes back, as far back as the Han Dynasty. Wonton is Cantonese from the southern part of China, the southern region. Won is cloud, ton is swallow. You're swallowing a cloud.
So the wonton, I've only ever actually had it like alongside wonton soup. Is that the traditional way it's served?
Wontons can be served fried with soup or with just a sauce.
All of this has been so educational, and nothing makes me hungrier than a good learning. So this is where the magic happens. Okay. I'm sorry. It's hard to do this when I'm being watched. Is it intentional that they're all just facing me? Could they just look the other way? To make the broth, we have to boil water, so that's the easy part. And on. So the broth is pretty basic. It's water, salt, and this guy. This is an emotional roadblock. Oh, beautiful, a nice rolling boil, just what we needed. Okay, arrivederci. See you on the flip side. Oh, they're turning red right away. We got our crabs in the pot. Now we're just gonna let them simmer for, hours and hours and hours. So I'll just hang out. Does anybody got some cards? While our broth simmers for hours and hours, we're going to move on to making the wonton skin. Ye old recipe I have says 1 caddy of flour. Feel like a golf caddy, you think? I don't know what a caddy is. Good news is I do have a dictionary. Oh wow, look at all these words I didn't know. Chamonix, a mountain valley in eastern France. Cascara, a buckthorn. Catty, a weight equal to about 1.5 pounds. Now that we've determined a caddy is 1.5 pounds, I'll use my handy dandy ye old scale. Okay, so that scoop is, it's gonna take us a minute. We might wanna speed this up. 2 pounds. Riveting content. We've achieved exactly 1.5 pounds of flour and 3/10 of an ounce of salt. Oh my God, do I have to weigh that again? It's probably like that much salt. Add a little water, probably like yay. Making wonton skins, that's a labor of love right there. Okay, here we go. Boop. Our 700-year-old recipe specifically says to knead the dough 100 times. So, count along with me. I'll tell you, this takes a wonton of effort. I think we're getting pretty close. We're gonna use the patented finger poke test to see if there's a little bit of buoyancy in this bread, baby. We have achieved our wonton dough. And now we're actually gonna take this dough and make it into skins. So we're gonna take our dough, break it off into little balls. Smaller balls. Do you feel like a wonton yet? Since I don't have 700 years of experience, we're gonna just test this guy out and see if this is gonna be about the right size. A little sprinkle of flour. That's pretty thin. That's skin, baby. But how do we make it into a square? I guess we just cut it into a square? That's not a square. Oh, look! We can try again. Let's really delicately cut a square. Oh, thank God. We've got our first wonton skin done. We're gonna put it on this plate to the side. We're gonna sprinkle a little on top, so that way the next time we place the skin on top, they don't all stick together and then Hannah doesn't just quit and walk off set. Let's keep going. So I've made 6 wonton skins, which is enough for 6 wontons, which is enough for 1 bowl of soup, which is enough for 1 little Hannah. So we're gonna save the rest of our dough and move on to our filling. For our filling, we're gonna be using green onion and crab meat. Next, we're moving on to the crab meat. Now we are using specifically only the claw because that's what it says. I gotta tell you guys, making dumplings from scratch is not all it's cracked up to be. Ooh, look at that crab meat. Oh my God, I'm actually salivating. I would just eat these right now. It's pretty amazing to think that what we're doing right now is a recipe that's been made for about 700 years. Humans have been eating things a long time. Ah, she did it. Now it is time to wash my hands forever. Oh wait, let's finish making the filling first. We're gonna take our crab meat and then we're gonna add what seems to be the right amount of green onion, you know? Dee-dee-dee. Filling done. Now on to the ultra fun part, which is actually making our little wontons. Now we finally get to assemble our wontons. I've been looking forward to this all day long. So I've actually made dumplings before, and what I learned in that experience is that the fold is crucial to keeping the filling inside. So I imagine that when working with wontons, it's probably pretty similar. So our beautiful, precious, freshly made wonton skins. Place in your left hand, cradle it like a baby. Next, we're gonna take a small amount of filling. We're gonna place a little in the corner. I bet the first wonton's like the first pancake. We're folding, we're rolling, gonna pinch it. Now it looks like a croissant. And here we go. We have our little flat hat, and then we pinch and fold together. And that is my first attempt at a wonton. Wow, we've got room for improvement, guys. That's why we have 5 more skins to go. This does have a different folding technique than modern day wontons. You might be wondering, Hannah, why aren't you dabbing the edges with water? It doesn't say use water. It says hold in left hand, fold, 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 happy day. Hello, Dolly. That is a pretty good looking wonton. All right, now we've got our 6 little wontons. Our broth is almost done. So last step is to just assemble the soup and then eat it. We're in the home stretch of making our 700-year-old wonton soup. So now let's check on how our broth is doing. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, God. That smells like boiled crab. So I'm just gonna go ahead and strain it all out now. Ooh, big boys. It looks like the bottom of the ocean. Whew! Wish you guys could be here to fully experience it with all your senses, as I am right now. Since I'm making wontons for Juan, I am going to swap this pot out for a smaller pot. And now it is time to say goodbye to our little crabby friends who are off to have another adventure. Oh, yum! Look at that crab water! You guys want to see a magic trick? Behold, a simple pot of boiled crab water, add a little salt, and now it's broth. I'm gonna take some of the broth, ladle it into this smaller pot, and boil my wontons in here. Now we have our broth at a nice healthy boil, so let's add our wontons. Are you ready for your final destination? They're even prettier than I remember. Here we go. I feel so proud. Oh, what? Just making 700-year-old wonton soup from scratch. Why? What are you up to? Now we're gonna wait about 2 or 3 minutes as the broth comes to another boil with the wontons, and the wontons cook fully through. So talk to a loved one really fast. It's wild to think that making this wonton soup took so much effort, even including modern conveniences. Could you imagine doing all this and having to stoke a fire to keep a rolling boil? Awesome, all of our wontons are floating, so now it's time to serve the soup and give it a taste. And now, the moment of truth. Our 700-year-old wonton soup. How did it turn out? We totally made wonton soup. It was a little doughy. Probably could have used a thinner skin. That's my note. That crab flavor really, really comes through. But honestly, the taste of the crab, the salt, the texture of the wonton, it really does all come together. We did it. This is a hole-in-one wonton. Now, I'm gonna make this soup a thing of the past. Get it? By eating it. That's all, folks. I'm Hannah Hart, and this has been Edible History.